Welcome back. Today we'll be doing 5C, pose, the preview assignment. So we have the tutorial and we have 4 questions to follow on to the tutorial. So let's do the tutorials. What it looks like for this one, the main purpose is to, we're further doing numerical summaries, but we're going to compute a mean and perform calculations to find a weighted average. I'm trying my pen here. So let's proceed. So let's see, in the next class you will need to be able to compute a mean. Tutorial for preview of lesson 5, part C, pose, begins here. Okay. So find the mean of the data set. Round to the 100th place. Refer to resources, mean, mode, mean if need be. Okay, now remember, the mean is just the sum of all values of the individual values divided by how many values you had. So in our case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 numbers to be added, and on the top we're just going to add them all up. So sum up all the values we have and divide by how many we have. So now go on pause me, and add up those numbers. Okay, got them done? Good. Me, I got, for adding all those numbers up, I got 404. Divided by 6 gives me 67.33 repeating, or 67 1/3. So that's how we did. 40. Okay, all the top numbers add up to 404, which we got, divided by 6, which is 67.33 repeating. Okay, they went to a decimal. Of course, the answer is 7.33. Okay. Another way to have done this would have been by longhand. Of course, 6 goes into 46 times. Made a 4, bring down the 4. 7, which is 42, which gives a remainder of 2, or 2, 6, which gives us our 67 1/3 for an answer. All right, next. So that's the mean. Add them up, divide by how many you had. Okay. Find the mean of the data. Oh, there's hundreds. All right. Find the mean of the data set. Rather than there's hundredths place. Aha. That's why I went to 2 decimal places. Always got to read your question carefully. Round to the hundredths. Again, this is a mean. So we want to add up and divide by how many. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll add up all the numbers on the top. Now, looks like 42, 142, 108, 63, 37, 12. Looks like it was a previous number set plus 1, and we know that was 404 plus our additional number. So that's 404 plus 190, which is 594 over 7, or 84.857. There's hundredths. So greater than 5, so we'll round up to 6. So it looks like adding the 190. Remember, the previous average was 67.33. We add one additional number, which is significantly larger than 7.33. So it raised the overall average by quite a bit. Let's see if we got our average correct. Next. Oh. $84.86. Wait, it's a different problem. Something skipped here. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. Went back and forth. Okay, here's where we were. Okay, I must have hit a button wrong and went to the next slide. So yes. So add them up, plus 190 gives us the 594. Divided by 7 gives us this big long number, by 84.86. So 84.86 would mean data set average. Aha. Sorry about that. Okay, so view the prompt and enter your response in the box. Check your answer when you are finished. One use of an average or mean is to compute your grade in a course. Suppose you had the 4 scores in English class. What is the mean? Now, nothing different. We'll just add up all these numbers. And divide by how many we have. So what is 85 plus 92 plus 98 plus 76? So if I'm pause for a second and add them up. Okay, now it should come to a total of 351 points. That's over 4 tests, which gives us an average of 87.75. $87.75. 87.75. So doing the average isn't that bad, isn't that hard to do. Add them up, add up all your points, or all your scores, all your values, and divide by how many you have. Okay, weighted averages. Okay. In lesson 5, parts see the concept of average and finding the mean we're going to extend to use what's called a weighted average. Weighted averages are averages that are computed after assigning each quantity a weight that identifies its relative importance. Each quantity is multiplied by its respective weight and results are added. Recall the 4 scores from English class given in question 2. In many courses, different types of assignments may count differently towards the overall grade. For example, essays often carry more weight towards the course grade in an English class. Okay. So suppose you made an 85 in essay 1. Okay. So here's your scores. Probably not a good choice. So you got an 85 and it carries 25%. Multiplying the weight times the score gives a point towards the total grade. So basically, 85 times 0.25. Let me do that. 85 times 0.25, we get 21.25. Complete the table by multiplying the weights by the remaining 3 scores and the total, the final column to determine the class and the grade. All right. So in the second essay, you got 92, and again, it's 25% of your grade. So let's do it. 92 times 0.25. For 23. Average of quizzes, 98 with 10%. So 98 times 0.1 or 9.8. Final exam was 76 and it weighs 40% of your grade. So 76 times 0.40. Or 30.4. Now, these guys all add up to 100%. And all these guys add up to, well, you tell me. Put me on pause and add those numbers, add up these 4 numbers. All right. Hopefully, when you add these all up, you got 84.45 for class grade. Answer. Let's see, 21.25, 23.3, 9.8, 30.4, 84.45. So we did good. Now, recall from the previous page, if we just added up the scores and averaged the scores, it was an 87.75%. So the weighted average was actually lower than the raw average. Why is that? Well, in this 87.75, this 98 basically carried as much weight as the 76. But in this, with a weighted grade, this 98 carried a lot less weight than the final exam did, a 9.8 versus 30.4. But again, we kind of like gave each score a, like I said, a relative value to the overall. Next slide. Review the prompt. Your total grade in question 3 should be lower than the grade computed in question 2. Why? Oh, we kind of just said that not too long ago. So in question 2, each score attributed to the overall average equally. In the weighted score, the lower score of final exam carried more weight, there was value, than the higher scoring quizzes. What was that effect? So the final exam counted 25% of total grade in question 2. They were all equally weighted. And question 3 accounted for 40% more. So since it was a lower score, it basically dragged down the overall average. Okay, self-assessment time. How confident that you can compute a mean? I would think extremely confident. How confident are you that you can perform a calculation to find a weighted average? Pretty confident. Just got to remember this takes a little more computation. So let's see, we computed the mean, and we computed a weighted average. Next one. So with that, we conclude the tutorial, and with the next video we'll come back to will be based on the questions, which you should do shortly after watching the tutorial. And I look forward to listening and talking to you then.